This is the first ever Zoomathon. There will be a link on every slide for our website, and the website under the fundraising, I think, has a link you can donate to. So feel free to check out our website and the fundraising website where you can donate. So this is the first ever Zoomathon. So every year we have March to the Memorials, and we're encouraged to fundraise and teach our community about veterans. And so I thought a Zoomathon would be a good way, since we're all virtual anyways, to have speakers talk about veterans. And so this will be an interactive meeting. The speakers will talk, and we encourage people, if they have questions afterward, to ask them. There will also be trivia questions you can answer. And this is part of the greater March to the Memorials. So Lizzie, do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, so we have this video here with some students introducing March to the Memorials, and kind of what our plan and our mission is.
March to the Memorials is an annual event that takes place at USM. All grades participate in this walk. It is usually around the middle school circle. This year it is a little different. Instead of marching around the circle, it'll be around the entire school, about a mile loop. The 3 divisions will walk staggered across the USM campus.
The purpose of March to Memorials is to represent the length it would take to get to Washington, D.C. from our location. It honors veterans from World War II and helps to provide them with the ability to.
Other often take place here at USM, and many activities will take place in order to raise money for the participating organizations. USM works with multiple organizations in order to raise money for veterans.
Talk about March to the Memorials too. We've been doing March to the Memorials for 10 years, and it's the goal of March to the Memorials, as you heard, is both to honor the past and those that have fallen, as well as support the present when it comes to our veterans today. We have done a lot of activities, but you'll see on the screen too that we end up having our entire university school community. The highlight of it is we collectively march those 800 miles. We've done everything from having guest speakers in to having faculty against student basketball games. We have a big out of uniform drive that you can see where everybody's in red, white, and blue. We have a change drive happening this year for Pets for Vets. We also have our students this year and the last couple of years have all conducted oral history interviews with people who have served or with families of people who have served to try to find out really what that price of freedom really means. So it's a great rally point for our community. And it's also awesome to have a lot of people outside of our community involved with our partnership. So again, thank you for everybody for joining. And I'm gonna move forward here if my technology supports it. Our 3 goals are to educate our community about Memorial Day. It fits in a lot with our 8th grade curriculum in my class. We want to support our veterans in the area. We have a lot of local veteran organizations that we're going to be hearing from. And of course, honor those that have fallen. And while it is Memorial Day, as we'll find out, is for those that have fallen, we do try to bring those who have served and fallen and those who have served and are still serving, bring them all together. We do have a donations page on our website that's available at USM MTTM 21 if you use that little bit.ly there. And we're offering these really cool mugs I got to hold it against my chest here, for the first 5 people who donate tonight, if anybody is watching it. And I got to check if anybody else is coming in. But if you want to go down there and drop in a little donation, that would be awesome. We're going to hear about the organizations that we are supporting. So I'll give it over to Lizzie, I believe, now for about Memorial Day.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Taft. So when I say we're going to talk about Memorial Day, I'm guessing a lot of people's mind go directly to that 3-day weekend in May, which is awesome, but it has a lot more meaning besides a day off of school. So Memorial Day is a day to remember those who have served and made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. It actually began on May 30th, 1868, and it was called Decoration Day. And this day was used as a day of remembrance and mourning for the many lives lost during the war. And to do this, they would decorate the graves of the lost with flowers in remembrance of them. And this day was later named Memorial Day in 1971 when it became a federal holiday, which is why we have off to remember these people. And it was placed on the last Monday of May. So we're going to show you a couple videos too that have a little more info about where it originated as well as its importance.
The muffled drum's sad roll has beat the soldier's last tattoo. No more on life's parade shall meet that brave and fallen few. As we commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, we prepare to honor the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield. 3 years after the end of the Civil War in 1868, Decoration Day was founded as a time for the nation to come together to decorate the graves of veterans with flowers. The first official observance was held at Arlington National Cemetery. The ceremony took place on the veranda of Arlington Mansion and was attended by dignitaries such as General Ulysses S. Grant. Flowers were spread on both Union and Confederate graves in honor of the fallen heroes. The tradition of placing small American flags atop each grave began on this day as well. It was not until after World War I, however, that the day was expanded to honor those who died in all American wars. In 1966, President Lyndon Johnson declared that the official birthplace of Memorial Day be Waterloo, New York, where local Civil War veterans were honored in 1866, 100 years earlier. This was considered to be the first formal, ongoing, community-wide event. In 1971, Congress declared Memorial Day a national holiday and placed it on the last Monday in May. In December 2000, the National Moment of Remembrance Act was passed into law. This National Moment of Remembrance encourages all Americans to pause for a minute of silence to remember and honor those who have died in service to the nation. Back in 1868, General Logan advised his people to guard their graves with sacred vigilance. Let no neglect, no ravages of time testify that we have forgotten the cost of a free and undivided republic.
And so we were planning to, we were hoping that the VA would be able to talk, but I don't think their speaker was available tonight. So the VA it helps with veterans, and specifically we were talking to the Milwaukee VA. So yeah. Now on to our organizations, which we are so happy to have speak for us and teach us about the issues that veterans still alive face. So for Pets for Vets, we have Nate Drykosen speaking.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you for having us as part of your Zoomathon this evening. It's really great that the project that you've done here and accumulating all these wonderful organizations that provide so much for the veterans here at home. So you're correct. My name is Nate Drykosen. I'm the director of the Madison chapter of Pets for Vets. And we are a part of a national organization with chapters all over the country, everywhere from California to the East Coast. And we are completely run by volunteers. So all of the funds that are raised for our organization literally go 100% to our mission. And our mission is helping veterans here at home by pairing them with rescue animals to be their companion. And what we find is a lot of veterans might reach out to us and say, you know, I love animals. I'd love to get a dog, or I'd love to get a cat. And I don't know where to start at a shelter. I don't know how to train an animal. You know, I need some help getting started. And that's where we step in. We help them locate an animal that will meet their needs. We also train them, and then also give them the various supplies it takes to have an animal in their home. such as a leash, collar, and the various veterinary supplies, grooming, everything that they need to get them on their feet. And all of this is at no cost to the veteran. So it's a really great program that helps both the animals find a home that need a home, and then also the veterans find it very rewarding as well. And for many of them, having a pet might be their companion if they live alone, or welcoming them into their family might be a reason for them to become active again, much like the same reason many of us would get pets as well. We do have a pretty rigorous training program, so we are really giving them we like to call it the golden animal, where their pet, whether it be that a dog or a cat, is pretty much all completely trained and ready to hit the ground running for them. And we try and make the process as seamless as possible, and not upend their lives too much with having a new friend in their life. And then the other great thing about our program is that we, once this match happens where we find the animal and place it with the veteran, our job is not done. We actually are always available should they need anything. And we do check in with our veterans pretty regularly, especially with the times with COVID, just checking in to make sure that they're able to get to all of their veterinary appointments, grooming if need be, or if they just simply need some special medicine or food that they might not be able to easily walk to the store or drive to the store and get. We definitely have access to some of those resources that they may not have. And to qualify for our program, the veterans really don't need anything, any kind of special circumstances to qualify. Really, the only requirement is to be able to have a suitable home and the time to dedicate to owning an animal, whether that's a dog or a cat, primarily a dog or a cat. We have matched other animals as well, but that's a little bit few and far between. And this picture actually is Patrick and Gypsy, and they are our most recent match. Actually, this happened this past fall, so fall of 2020. And Patrick was just looking for a companion and had some specific breeds he was interested in. And so one of our trainers was able to use her network with the various rescue organizations and find Gypsy for him. And it was everything went off without a hitch. It was wonderful. It's extremely rewarding to see that the emotion that they experience and the reward that they get of having the animal in their life.
Are there any questions that people would like to ask Pets for Vets speaker? Nate?
Nate, how many pets have you, as the organization, been able to match in its history?
Our chapter, I would say, is somewhere around, I don't know the exact number because it does go back quite a ways. And I've been the director since a little over a year and a half ago. But we do have some pretty serious history going back probably almost 10 years. So if I had to guess ballpark, I would say between 15 and 20. Good question. Any others? All right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for featuring us.
Yeah, it was very nice for you to come and speak. Then on to the trivia. First question of the night.
So we've heard it a couple times, but our first question, see if everybody's watching, is what was and Lizzie, you can't answer because you already said it, but what was the original name of Memorial Day? Was it Soldiers Day, Decoration Day, Gold Star Day, or Military Day? I see Mr. Strains is smiling. He probably thinks he knows it. So everybody, you can yell out your answer on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Decoration Day.
All right. I think I heard a Tommaso voice in there. And
yeah.
The answer, of course, is Decoration Day. All right. So everybody gets 1,000 points. They got that right. Okay. All right. I think this goes to Lizzie, correct?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have MHVI and Woven. So MHVI is also known as the Milwaukee Homeless Veterans Initiative, and this organization is founded and run by veterans. Their mission is to help homeless and at-risk veterans to reach and maintain their highest level of independence. And for the past 13 years, they've actually helped over 5,500 veterans and their families in southeastern Wisconsin to obtain benefits, household goods, foods, transportation, and a whole lot more to help them reach their highest level of independence, which is really, really cool. A separate program, which is in MHVI, is Woven, which is the Women's Veterans Initiative. So this is a specific program within it that is founded by women veterans, and their mission is to educate, advocate, and increase public awareness of the increasing numbers of at-risk, homeless, and underserved women veterans. So women veterans often experience challenges in the military that few know of, and some of those experiences can cause female veterans to not turn to the military channels of support service. So Woven, it exists in part to bridge trust gaps and assist women in obtaining the services that they truly deserve, because they are veterans and they deserve those same services. So these are two really great programs that help support veterans that have supported us.
Okay, and so next I'd like to introduce Paula Nelson from Honor Flights, and she is the national board person.
Well, thank you again for inviting me to talk about the Honor Flight organization. I am the Honor Flight Network Secretary on their board of directors, and also the past president of our local hub here in the Milwaukee area called Stars and Stripes Honor Flight. There are about 100, and if you could stay there, that'd be great. There are about 130 hubs across the country that are doing what we do here in Milwaukee, flying or taking veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials that were built in their honor and really give them a day of gratitude and appreciation for their service. There are 6 hubs in Wisconsin that do this. So we do it Stars and Stripes out of Milwaukee. There's Old Glory that flies out of Appleton, Never Forgotten out of Wausau. Superior has Northland, and Madison has Badger. La Crosse has Freedom. So 6 hubs just in Wisconsin that are flying and honoring these veterans. It is a no-cost day to the veterans. No veteran will ever be asked for anything. They do not pay for a thing for their flight. But the organization started when the World War II Memorial was built, and the World War II veterans were getting on in age, and it was thought that they might either physically or financially be unable to really see that memorial. So that's how the Honor Flights were born. It's usually a 1 to 3 day trip, depending on where the hubs are across the country. For us in Wisconsin, it's a 1 day trip, but it's very early in the morning where the veterans and their guardians check in very early. We fly to the Washington, D.C. area. We see a lot throughout the day, and then we come back later and that evening. Other hubs that are based on the West Coast, it's a 3 day trip for them. So the awareness and the fundraising is a much bigger challenge for those across the country. And these are just a few of the people that you can see how much the general public or people that are there to greet our veterans really do show them the love and appreciation and thank them for their service. So then we can go to the next slide, which shows us just some of the highlights. These are the key, kind of the foundation of our trip. We'll always stop at the World War II Memorial, which is the larger horizontal picture at the bottom. The Korean War is the stainless steel statues kind of center on the top. And then on the far left, we've recently added the Vietnam veterans to our mission. So that's visiting the Vietnam Wall. You can see him with his hands against the wall there. and then changing of the guard at Arlington National Cemetery. Those are kind of the 4 essential stops. We'll also try to, as time permits, squeeze in the Air Force Memorial, Martin Luther King, FDR, sometimes the Navy Yard, the Navy Memorial. It just depends on how much we can see. We do have the United States Park Police that escort us through Washington, D.C., which is wonderful because we wouldn't see anything else but traffic if we didn't have them. It really makes our veterans feel like the heroes that they are. They're treated to that speedy tour through the city to get to the memorials that are so meaningful to them. I mentioned that, it started with World War II. We added the Korean veterans in 2013, and in 2017, we've added the Vietnam memorials, and each has a very different experience. Their return home was very different, but the Vietnam Wall in particular is really been just a wonderful gift to these Vietnam veterans to be able to take them on this trip. And some of them view that wall as though they can talk to their fallen comrades there. They can release some of the guilt or grief that they felt for the last 50 years. And it's just been a tremendous experience to be able to offer that trip to them as well. We can go to the next slide then. So these are just some of the different shots. You'll see how excited in the middle on the top, that's Benny Cota. He was 99 when he took his flight. We just lost him this spring at 102. So, but they're so excited and they make new friends. You can see the picture on the top left corner. They meet each other, they make new friends, they end up exchanging phone numbers and meeting for coffee afterwards. You can see at the homecoming at the airport, their families are there to greet them. They now feel that their service again was valued and really appreciated, and their families get a better understanding too of what their service was like. We love it when some of the veterans bring their service pictures along, as you can see on the bottom there. The last 2 photos on the bottom and the lower right, those are things that we've done since our flights have been canceled. It's been a terrible, 15, 16 months since our flights were canceled because of COVID. So last year, and actually earlier today, before the really heavy rains came in, we had what's called a parade of honor for those veterans whose flights were canceled last spring. So we did a little parade here in Milwaukee, just to let them know that they were not forgotten. They'll be the first on the list once we can resume our flights. And then the last picture in the far lower right, that's some of our ambassadors that we have had. These are veterans who have flown with us, and they have been so kind when we've had a terminally ill veteran who's we've not been able to do anything with. They go to their homes. You can see they were masked. Typically we have the veteran in his front yard or at a patio door where they can talk with them at a distance, and you can see them here saluting them. We try to give them just at least a mini honor flight experience because we're probably not going to have the opportunity to take them on a flight. So those home visits are very special. So on the last slide, one more slide, I think, just we have adopted the "Every Day is a Bonus" as our motto from Joe Demler, who was a World War II Nazi prisoner of a Nazi camp in World War II, and he was featured in Life magazine and often referred to as the human skeleton because they said he was just hours away from death. And Joe was from Port Washington, and he said when he was liberated from that Nazi prison camp that from that day on, every day was a bonus. And we thought that was really a nice way to let all of our veterans know that we are so fortunate. Every day is a bonus for us because of the service of our veterans. So if anybody wanted any information about the Honor Flight Network, all the 130 hubs around the country, if you know people who are looking for honor flights or veterans around the country, you can go to honorflight.org, and there's a map there to help you find the hub nearest to your veteran. The Stars and Stripes site is there, Stars and Stripes honorflight.org. That is for the Milwaukee hub. We do also have a gala coming up this fall in November. So if anybody's interested in that, it's starsandstripeshonorflight.org and with the /gala 2021. So I thank you very much for allowing us to talk a little bit about honor flights. We have our fingers crossed, hoping that we'll be able to resume flights with some of the promising news we've been hearing, but we'll continue to do whatever we can to honor our veterans. I should also mention that the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight Hub is 100% volunteer. 97 cents on every dollar goes directly to our mission, and we're so proud of that. We had volunteers out today in the rain and in the cold front that came through, and everybody's just thrilled to honor the veterans. So we're really, really proud of that. So thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions.
And Paula, I would just add too, I've been able to go on 2 honor flights. It's one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. And going to the homecoming at the airport is probably the best free entertainment you can ever have.
It is wonderful. We don't know what that's going to look like when we can resume yet this fall, but the airport's really excited to have us back, and we'll figure it out. So yeah, it is. Everybody should go to a homecoming, even if you don't know somebody on the flight, just once. It's really amazing. Thank you for that.
Are there any questions for Paula from Honor Flights? Okay, then if we're all done with that, moving on to trivia.
So the trivia, of course, is about honor flights, and I want to see if Paula knows this one too.
Uh-oh.
According to the Honor Flight Network, how many overall in the United States, how many veterans have taken an honor flight and have flown from Washington to Washington, D.C. since 2004 when they started? All right, so I think Paula answered, but does everybody trust her answer? That's the question. She is kind of, my guys, she's a reliable resource, right? How many of you are going to trust Paula? Give me a thumbs up in your chats there.
Got to go with me, guys.
Got to go. And that is the answer, of course. All right, think about that. Almost 250,000 veterans have been flown from all over the United States to Washington, D.C. And it's, as I said, it's an experience like no other, being in the airport or being at a memorial and seeing an honor flight come in. It's like over the top awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to introduce the speaker for Dry Hooch, Robert Waite.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on. Dry Hooch is a nonprofit veteran organization. It was started by a Vietnam vet, Bob Curry, who's our founder and president. The main platform of Dry Hooch is peer support. And we started with the coffee shop on Brady Street across from Glorioso's in 2008. And we also have a place on National Avenue on 48th Street, right across from the VA hospital, and also in Madison, which we're building a new facility, which will be opening around October. It's Valor on Washington. And right now we're at a 600 East Williamson Street there, which is about a mile down towards the Capitol building in Madison. And what it is with the peer support is with the veterans helping other veterans recovering from substance use disorders, homelessness, being able to help contact with the other resources in the community, not just veteran resources, but there might be other community resources that can help the veteran with housing, clothing, food, transportation. We also have a lot of contacts in the VA that if they're having some issues with getting treatment or even knowing what treatment that they're eligible for their service, we're able to assist them and help walk them through that along with their recovery from alcohol or prescription medication or drugs from their service. And we had with the COVID, the groups, of course, have not been like they used to. We're starting to slowly get groups back at the VA. With Dry Hooch. So besides the VA doing groups, we also have our own group leaders and facilitators. We do a comprehensive training. It's a QRF, Quick Response Force training that the Medical College of Wisconsin, Marquette University, and the VA also helped us put that course together. And that's how the first step of training our peer mentors. And then we get state certified through the state, and then we're able to, help the veteran and do the walk. And it's more of, being that cheerleader and helping them get through and seeing that, hey, look, someone else went through it and made it through the other side, so I can do it as well. And then with the groups and then other activities, with the coffee shop, it's just a place for veterans to come down and just talk. With Dry Hooch, of course, dry meaning no alcohol, and hooch being the term of being out in the field with a tent, a place where we slept when we weren't out in the field or doing our jobs out on deployment. So it's a great organization. It helped me. I came to Dry Hooch almost 2 years ago, and now I'm with them full time and giving back to the other veterans in the community. We do a lot of clothing outreaches for the veterans, and we do food outreaches as well, which we do that for not just the veterans, but the food outreach is also for the members in the community. Seeing that in the military, we're taught that, taking care of our community and the people that we're supporting and defending while we're on active duty. So we continue that with Dry Hooch as well. So is there anything that anybody would like to know, or any questions? That's something I might not have covered, or?
You had mentioned there are. Oh, go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry, you had mentioned that there were 2 in Milwaukee and 1 in Madison. Are there other organizations similar in the area as well that have expanded because of Dry Hooch? I thought there was some in Chicago maybe that were being created.
There's one in Chicago that's in the process that Bob Curry and Otis Winstead are working with to get them started and up and running. There's one outside of Atlanta area. And then, so that's about the ones right now that are in the process.
So my students, what I would just point out there is that, you can come up with a great idea that can start locally, that can help people. You're taking action and helping people locally, and it can expand and reach well beyond your neighborhood or your city or your state. And that Dry Hooch is a perfect example of that. Paul, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how can somebody who's a non-veteran like myself, how can we help, or what can we do to be involved, or to let others know that we want to support what you guys are doing?
You can always send donations to Dry Hooch. You can come down if you're in the Milwaukee area to Brady Street, 1030 East Brady Street in Milwaukee. With the coffee shop, we're open Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 2 right now, and then Friday is 8:30 to 1. We're hoping to expand our hours as things open up and more foot traffic starts coming out. We can expand the hours and hopefully into the weekend like we did before COVID. You can donate hygiene supplies, socks. Those are always big items for the homeless vets. And just on June 6th at the 5 o'clock steakhouse on State Street from noon to 4, there's a classic car show. And it's going to be a fundraiser that the 5 o'clock is putting on for us and MHA. And we're going to have our mobile barista that we've got. And we're putting that together in partnership with the War Memorial. So that'll be out there on June 6th. And then we'll have a table with info and some of our vets that work with us in Dry Hooch.
Thank you so much for speaking. That's all the questions. Next is trivia.
Lizzie already mentioned this, but when was Memorial Day officially observed on the last Monday in May? Was it in 1918 after World War I, 1945 after World War II, 1971 just after I was born, or 2001 as a result of 9/11? Lizzie, you can't answer. So Bryn says 1971. Is this a good stumper there, Jay Strains? All right, everybody shout out your answer. Tommaso says 1971. Jason?
I thought it was 45, but I'm probably wrong.
The answer is 1971. Yes. So 1,000 points to everybody but Jason.
Should always listen to Tommaso.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, so we also donated to we are raising funds for Guitars for Vets, and Roshni, a student, recorded a video for it to explain their organization.
Nearly 1 million of military veterans are afflicted with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. In fact, more soldiers have committed suicide since the Vietnam War than have died in actual battle, but many are finding hope in an unlikely place, behind the wooden strings of an acoustic guitar. The healing power of music therapy helps soldiers cope. That is why Guitars for Veterans provides a forum and a place to learn how to play guitar. But they can't do it without your help. Please keep listening to learn more about the program and how you can help those who have served rediscover their joy through the power of music. Guitar for Vets has fulfilled over 40,000 lessons and distributed over 4,000 guitars for free to military veterans. Over the past 12 years, their organization has refined a guitar instruction program aimed at providing veterans struggling with physical injuries, PTSD, and other emotional distress a unique therapeutic alternative. Guitar for Vets pursues its mission to share the healing power of music by providing free guitar instructions and a new acoustic guitar and a guitar accessory kit in a structured program run by volunteers primarily through the Department of Veterans Affairs facilities and the community-based medical centers. Nearly 1 million.
And next we have trivia.
All right. Our final trivia. What flower is the symbol of Memorial Day? Is it the red rose, the red carnation, the red tulip, or the red poppy? What does everybody think? Got a couple poppies in there. 8th graders, do you remember why it's the poppy? From what events? Or what conflict, Eva?
I'm pretty sure it was the World War I.
It was World War I because of a beautiful poem called In Flanders Fields. And it's since then, so you will see people raising money over the weekend, probably if you go to Sendix. I believe Paula, Sendix is still partners with Honor Flights, is that correct?
That's true, and they're running their 3-month promotion for us right now.
Yeah,
it's active right now. Yeah, they're terrific.
And you'll see people from the VFW and the VA will also be offering poppies when you enter a lot of places. It's symbolic, and it's actually a flower that is red, and that's symbolic of because it could grow in the fields in France, and the red symbolizes the sacrifice that a lot of soldiers gave in those fields.
Okay, everyone. Okay. I'd first like to thank the organizations for being here. It's really meant a lot to me to put this together and have your help speaking for this and helping raise awareness. I'd also like to thank the viewers, of course, for coming and watching this and learning. Go to our website to get all the updates. Go under the donations to donate. Remember, the first 5 will get a mug, and then I'd also like to talk about a Memorial Day is about. As Lizzie said, it's about the ultimate sacrifice a person can make. It's paying for freedom with their life. And so freedom isn't free, as one memorial says, and it's not, because the veterans who have served have probably known people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and they have made the ultimate sacrifice because they protected our country and protected freedom. So it's really important that we remember that this coming Memorial Day, everyone.
And I do want to interject that I want to say my thank you to my students for all of their support for March to the Memorials, and for Roshni and Lizzie for taking a big part in this activity. But I really want to thank Eva. This was her brainchild. She did it all. She put it together and did all the contacts. It's one of the greatest things I've seen in my 10 years of doing March to the Memorial. So Eva, thank you, and thank our organization. Thank you to our organizations. Expect a check coming your way once we do all of our tallies this upcoming week. But thank you all so much. But Eva, you did a great job.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lizzie and Roshni, who's not here. And thank you again. The organizations did a lot of work, and they really helped, I think, teach you guys. Even if it was few in number, it was a lot of learning.
And this will be recorded and posted on our website so everybody else can watch it. Thanks to the students that came in as well. And everybody have a great week. And please remember on Monday, every day, but especially on next Monday, on May 31st, that freedom is not free.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well,
bye.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aunt Bryn and Mom.
Thank you.